This is not my bass, but it is virtually identical. I do use Avedissian custom wound pickups in my bass that I basically just told Alex, the guy who makes the pickups, I was like, just make me pickups that sound like John Wetton's bass tone. So he just ran with that information, and I'm super happy with what he did with it. I have some of my String Joy strings on here. I like them quite a bit. You can get custom gauges made. I made the switch finally a few years ago, like from playing like strings that were like way too light of a gauge than I needed to, because I was like, ah man, you know, I got this, you know, like, it's not gonna go out of tune. I can deal with this, but yeah, I finally was like, man, this is like completely counterintuitive. I'm having to tune during the song sometimes. Like, I just need to like bite the bullet and get something that's, you know, I have to work up a little bit of like hand strength on. It's kind of based around giving myself a new chaos factor every time we go on tour by completely changing my pedal board up. So I've got a Solid Gold Effects Beta MOSFET overdrive here, and then I run that into this other new pedal that I got recently, which is a Night Owl Industries Oscar tube preamp. Just the nasty, kind of just super raunchy overdrive that I can control with the volume pedal if I need. Everything just sort of revolves around that. I have the Boss ES5 switcher here that just kind of routes my mostly just nasty dirt pedals that I have going on. I don't have a lot of modulation on my board right now because earlier this year, or the first tour that I did with the Boss was our tour that we did with Obituary, and we were kind of just trying to come out swinging with a little bit more of our aggressive songs, and I was like, all right, I don't really need to have like a delay and a reverb and a, you know, all this other stuff for songs that are mostly just like crunchy. So I just have a chorus going on so I can get a little bit of my Pete Steele worship here and there, which sounds like this. So I use the Earthquaker hoof for that just disgusting fuzz tone, and run it into the Boss bass chorus that I also just got recently. Apart from that, I've got an Idiot Box blower box pedal that's kind of, I guess, that company's take on a Rat. It sounds like apart from that, my always-on pedal that I have in front of everything is a Fairfield Circuitry Accountant compressor. I don't know how I managed to go the entirety of the existence of Pallbearer without using a compressor until this year. It's completely changed the game for me. Especially playing fingerstyle, there's so much variance in how much attack you have versus playing with a pick. So like having something where like I still am in complete control of the dynamics, but I'm able to also like not worry that I'm gonna have a dead note somewhere or like lose my sustain in the middle of like one of our riffs that might have a note that holds for like 15 seconds. Like, it's a bad feeling when you're on stage and you're like, man, this is about to get to the like really crushing part, and then like hit it, the bass note dies like 1/3 of the way through, and the rest of the band's still like, yeah. So I'm just on stage like having to like pick it a bunch of times to make it look like I'm doing it on purpose. Finally bit the bullet, and I got a Lail volume pedal. I had been using is it Ernie Ball, I guess? The one that everybody has, the like Volume Junior. It never had a good sweep for me. Like, it was like, you could turn it up halfway, and that's like when it was like just sort of like on all of a sudden, instead of like a nice, like, there was no bloom to it at all. Over here, this is not my amp. It was kindly borrowed from Chicago Music Exchange. It's similar to mine. I have a Rowland Meat Smoke, which is, to me, kind of like the end-all, be-all tube bass amp that you can buy. If it is at all possible, I will only use a tube amp. Every now and then kind of get, stuck in a situation on a festival or something where I may end up, like if we've flown in somewhere and I have to use a solid state. But to me, there's like a massive, massive difference between the feel of playing a solid state amp versus a tube amp. Like every time I play a solid state, it makes me feel like I'm playing a bass that has rubber bands for strings for some reason. It just like, something really like boingy about it, and there's just no, like once again, it's like, there's like the bloom that you hear with tube amps. Like when you hit both the preamp tubes and the power section, you can like feel when it's compressing. And I have ended up basically tailoring my entire playing style around that sort of feeling that I get from it, which maybe I'm a fool for doing that. But anyway, this is somewhat similar to my amp. I don't really use, I've never been one to write around pedals really. Like I know a lot of people do, but for me, I haven't been, for the last couple of years, I've not been writing the Pallbearer songs or parts that I write on bass. I write them on guitar and then show them to the other guys, and then I will develop the bass line around that. In addition to all this stuff, I'm really, really into synthesizers. I have a modest Euro rack set up at home, like probably 60 modules or something like that. I say modest, I'm actually lying to myself because I don't want to, yeah, I just don't want to I don't want to be like real with myself that I've spent like way too much money on it. So, yeah, I've been fascinated with synthesizers for years and years. I've got a small collection of vintage synths at home, and so like the aspect of that I really enjoy is that you can literally like build any sound you want from the ground up. If you have the knowledge of what goes into subtractive synthesis or additive synthesis, which also I've spent way too much time researching and kind of like teaching myself about, you can make anything. So that I don't know, for some reason, like that part of my creative process, like it feels like I always am kind of like dumping that super out there sort of like just trying to like come up with stuff that I like haven't heard before. I want to like start to let the two intertwine a little bit more and start, just getting a little bit more far out with the pedals.